Joe Mixon out at least 6 weeks, according to early reports. He's going to try and shoot for week number 1, but this thing has been delayed, and there's been setbacks and unveilings of more and more bad news as we've moved along through the Joe Mixon injury. We're going to talk about that and more. Woody Marks may be getting a shot at some point, because even though Nick Chubb seems next in line and people are excited about the Nick Chubb situation, look, let's be honest. Most of you that are excited about Nick Chubb, you're excited because you picked him up off waivers. He was sitting there. It's very rare that a starting running back is available. I am intrigued by the few starts he probably is able to throw down, but at what point does he get hurt? Woody Marks was drafted for a reason. I kind of like the kid. Might Houston trade for a running back like ETN, who seems to be on the outs over in Jacksonville, because he was third in the pecking order yesterday? It was Bigsby, it was Tootin, then ETN. Maybe Kenneth Walker could be on the move. Who knows? We'll break it all down and more here on the Fantasy Football Show. Old dog running backs. What's the odds that any one of these guys finishes the year? Henry probably does. He's the most likely. Christian McCaffrey, 29. Kamara, 30. Mixon, 29. Something happens to the body, unless you're Derrick Henry. Something happens to the body at 30 years of age. And even with Henry, even though we joke about how he's superhuman, he'll continue to do it. There's a chance, a very decent chance, that all four of these running backs are not monsters at all when the end of the season comes rolling around. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Keep in mind, a lot of the Nick Chubb, those are owners that grabbed them and they're just excited they have something. You know what I mean? Like, I think Nick Chubb will do fairly well for the beginning part of the season. He could have kind of like a nice, month of football. Maybe a month and a half of football. Sure. As even maybe a flex play. You could maybe throw him in there as your flex or an RB3, or if you play in a league where you've got 2 running backs, 2 or 3 wide receivers, and then 2 or 3 additional flex spots. Hell yeah. Dial up Nick Chubb. He'll get a touchdown. He'll probably fall into the end zone. But if you believe that Nick Chubb's going to last the year playing elite football, I don't know what to tell you. That's probably not going to happen. But maybe you get a couple games. Maybe you get a month of football. Woody Marks is a very, exciting young rookie that kind of fell to the wayside after Chubb was signed and brought in to be the number 2 in Houston. Mixon's been dealing with this like literally a slew of injuries, constantly. This is a foot. He's been seen in a walking boot. He's had some issues with his foot for a while. It's been something that's been being unveiled to us slowly. This is a problem. No, it's not. He's in a boot. It's just precautionary. Oh, he's just taking time off. He'll be fine in a couple weeks. Now we'll reevaluate him closer to week 1. And what that means is you evaluate him closer to week 1, probably not ready to rumble at that exact moment when they say, let's flip the switch. This is probably something to where he's still got to get back into, shape, if he's even ready to play. And then you got to consider that anybody that doesn't, Smitty doesn't hate veterans. That's ridiculous. Yeah, what Smitty hates veterans is what you say. Then why am I promoting Deebo Samuel all the time? Why am I promoting a handful of veterans? You obviously don't know what you're talking about, bro. You just don't, and that's okay. That's why you're here. You're here to absorb. You're here to learn. We're here to teach you. We're here.
Mashed potatoes!
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
As far as, Nick Chubb, maybe he's solid. Maybe he's solid for a month of football. I wouldn't say don't go grab him if he's sitting out there. But Woody Marks was drafted for a reason. I think they do believe in him to a degree. So we'll see what happens. We got 2 gifted memberships right off the bat from Wheel Snipe.
You've just been Smitty approved. Let's go! Mashed potatoes!
Wheel Snipe doing Wheel Snipe selly things in the chat. Wheel, we appreciate you, Wheel. He's wielding greatness is what he's doing. Wes dropping an alien super chat. Wes, we appreciate the super. Thank you very much, my guy. And then we've got We got, Wes is a character. Even though he's wild, sometimes we do appreciate him around here. You're kind of like I don't want to say a favorite, but you're definitely missed when you're gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Matt, we're trying to teach everybody that needs it. Definitely. Debo, Yak King. Yeah, let the Debo haters hate. The people that hate, that hate Achan, that hate Kyron, that hated JD5. Those are all the people that hate Debo. They can't stand him. They can't stand the idea of Debo bouncing back and being an absolute savage this year.
Mashed potatoes!
He's doing it. He's doing it live. Just like we are. Just like we are. As far as Mixon, look, avoid him. Total avoid. Don't go near him. Don't go near him. I mean, if you could get him free, I don't even know if I'd want him on my roster over a player that can contribute right away. Matt as an example, throwing out a guy like Spears. If you can only roster 5 or 6 running backs, why are you going to hold a guy and you can put him on IR? That might be the move. If you got IR spots and somebody cuts him, put him on IR, sure. The only place Mixon can go on a roster is if you have an IR spot. Should you draft him and then put him on IR? Yes. That I'm okay with. That's actually a very, very smart move. Other than that, Mixon shouldn't be on a roster. If you can't draft players and put them on IR, don't bother. If you can grab them off waivers because someone cuts him, throwing them on IR, do it live. That's it. He's, aside from a shot in the dark from an IR spot, he's not somebody I would roster over a Spears, over a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, over any of the midseason monsters that you see on screen right now. Bask in the glory that is the midseason monsters. Brashard Smith, Sampson, Garendo, Bigsby, Tootin, doing it live. That's where it's at. Scattaboo. All these players are more attractive than an IR destined to be injured anyway. Even if he wasn't hurt and he was going to play week 1, I would tell you to avoid him because he's 29 years old. 29 years old, already showing signs of breakdown. Kamara, I know a lot of you want Kamara to be electric all year long. What you're probably getting out of Kamara, listen to me, bring it in real close, nice and tight. Listen to me. Kamara might be great for a month, just like the old battery on the leaf blower. You charge it overnight, Mixon's charging over the offseason, it's going to come out solid. It's going to fire off for a good 5-6 minutes. In the case of Kamara, Kamara probably has a really good month of football. And unless you can trade him after a month or maybe 8 weeks at the very latest, there's no business going near it. Because then you're going to be stuck high and dry, left at the altar with Kamara, being that he's 30 years old. So it's up to you how you want to spend your draft capital. I can only tell you so many times and scream from the rooftops. This guy's going to break at some point this year. Might not be right away, but he's going to break. In week number 2, if he's firing off, if he's running back 6 in fantasy, you're going to come in here and say, Smitty, how do you feel now? And I'm going to tell you to go get me a coffee. Because it's not about week 1. It's not about week 2. And I told you how it was going to go. I told you he could have a good first month of football. So while you think you're all slick and you're going to come in, I can't wait till Smitty's live stream starts. I'm going to tell him to take a lap. I'm going to tell him to take a big lap, Smitty, because he's wrong. You're going to go get me a coffee because at the end of the day, all that matters is will he leave you hanging. Kamara's going to leave you hanging. Mixon will leave you hanging if he's even playing. Christian McCaffrey's going to leave you hanging. You can draft Kamara and CMC if you want and trade them, but that's a tough business to be in because then you gotta have them playing well. They got to be healthy, and you got to sell them at just the right time to go buy a player you could just draft in their place anyway. Why not draft somebody in CMC's stead right now? Who's available? Genty. Who's available? Achan. Who's available? Bucky. All 3 of those guys are available whenever you can draft CMC. What business do you have drafting Christian McCaffrey over Bucky over Achane over Genty when you're going to be praying that CMC could get you that in a trade after a 5, 6, 7 weeks of football? Why not just draft a better player now? Why not get it done now? Why not do it live now? I don't know why. People have a gravitation toward this fire, this flame. They want to run into fire. Go ahead. Now, Henry's the only one I'm just going to stand down on. We don't know if he's got the one more season. Out of all the people here, he does have the most capability of doing it. Why? Injury history. What does injury history tell you at 30 years plus, at 29 years plus, that you're probably going to get hurt? You're Mixon, you got an injury history, you're done. You're done. You're done. You're Alvin Kamara, you've got an injury. You got an injury history. It's not as bad as Christian McCaffrey or Mixon, but this is an older player that showed a little breakdown as the year went on. The offense is pitiful. You mix in bad offense, you mix in bad offensive line for Mixon, injury prone, 29 years old, bad offensive line's in shambles. You're done.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
You mix in horrible. Shook, he's the worst quarterback I've ever seen. The Saints are going to be probably the second worst team in the league, mixed with being 30 years old, not 29, 30, mixed with probably a lot of injury, lingering injuries. Could obviously just take down a season. It doesn't have to be an ACL. It could be little things here and there. 30 years old, horrible quarterback play, horrible situation, probably worst team in football, probably won't sniff the red zone. You're done.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
And everybody that says, oh, Kamara's sure going to be fine, you own him. You own him in 17 leagues. That's why. That's why he's going to be fine. Not because of logic. And Christian McCaffrey, injury history like no other, workload like no other, coach that breaks his running backs like no other. His coach doesn't run multiple running backs. He doesn't. It's a one running back system. Shanahan said it even last year when people said, why did you break Christian McCaffrey again when he went down with the PCL and Mason was doing great right before? Shanahan, from his own mouth, said, we don't run multiple running backs. CMC, horrible situation, shaky offensive line. And it's a great offense, but it's a shaky offensive line in a horrible situation in that he's coming back from bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis that didn't go away. It's always going to sit there. Always going to sit there simmering. It's at bay right now. This is a bad situation to walk into. Yeah, great scheme, great offense. Guess who's going to benefit? Garendo, 29 years old, injury history, more workload for any running back, being a higher percentage of his team's offense in really the history of fantasy football. You're done.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
This is the only one I'm not yelling at. Derrick Henry, he's the only one without an injury history. He's older than all of them, but he has no injury history. And he has an offense that's amazing that will have him potentially falling into the end zone 12 times, even if he does break down and has 850, 900 yards. So this is a player that you could still draft. Would I draft Bucky over Henry? Yes. Would I draft Achane over Henry?
You've just been Smith.
Will I draft Genty over Henry?
You've just been Smith.
Will I call Henry a bust? You got to be out of your mind. No, I'm not. But I do draft those three running backs ahead of him. I do draft wide receivers like London ahead of him. That is what it is. Doesn't mean I'm drafting a lot of Henry. It's just a hard player to suggest is going to decline when he has no injury history. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Motion detected at the front.
All right, dial in. Probably get a lot of Nick Chubb to the moon comments, phone calls. Don't you think Nick Chubb, the reason I ask is I just picked him up. Don't you think Nick Chubb is probably going to be good all year? I mean, I just picked him up. Doesn't it seem like he's going to, because I just grabbed him, doesn't it seem like he's going to be pretty good? Because he's on my team. I'm just curious. I'm asking for not a friend, for myself. Caller, you're live. What can I do for you?
What's up, Smitty?
What's up?
I got a dynasty question, if that's cool, to start off.
Sure.
I put this in the Patreon, and it got a little bit of attention. And I'm just curious, if you are in Superflex and you own Josh Allen, you own Herbert, would you rather have Josh Allen, Herbert, and Harvey, or Bo Nix, Herbert, and Bijan?
Josh Allen, Herbert, and Harvey versus Bijan, Bo Nix, and who?
And Herbert. I'm just saying, which side do you like?
Okay. So let's write it side by side. So Herbs, we'll take Herbs out. Herbs doesn't matter. So Josh Allen, so Bijan, and then the other quarterback was Nix. So Nix and Bijan, essentially. I take Nix and Bijan, and I probably run. Look, the thing is, I love Bo Nix. Maybe you don't, and that's fine if you don't. I assume you probably do, or you
I love him.
You probably wouldn't even, be talking this up if the difference. And I love Harvey, but the difference in Harvey's security versus Bijan is like an ant and a skyscraper. You know, it doesn't mean that this ant can't pick up things 100 times its size. That's Harvey. Doesn't mean he can't grow big and strong into his own little mini skyscraper. But this is the difference of like a peon, even though we love Harvey, and a conglomerate. This is a monster right here. The difference between Josh Allen and Nix is not even near the discrepancy between Bijan and Harvey. Nix is a running quarterback. Nix is young. Nix is fresh legs. Nix could be just as good of a rushing quarterback as Josh Allen or anybody in the league once the tush push is removed and Jalen Hurts gets downsized to normal quarterback running potential. And that's probably going to happen in one calendar year. Bo Nix is going to throw for 35 plus touchdowns and 4,000 plus yards, probably more like 4,500 yards, and we'll call it 38 passing touchdowns plus. No, 35. We'll be nice. We'll be calm. We won't get ahead of our skis. 35 plus passing touchdowns, 4,500 plus passing yards, 600 to 700 rushing yards, and 7 to 9 touchdown potential every season. Give me the Nix Bijan side and go ahead and run away.
I love it. What would you do to sweeten up trading Allen and Harvey? If the guy's like, I want more, would you throw in a couple first? Would you maybe, I have Devontae Adams, I could throw Adams in. I already have Bucky and Kyron, so Bijan, I feel like, would just make me untouchable.
I mean, so you're just teasing me with this one. You're telling me that this isn't something on the table. I don't know if he's going to do this trade. I think multiple first rounders is a big jump from where we just were at. You know, you were getting me excited about this situation, and now you're tossing in multiple first rounders is just not. I would say if he came to you and said, give me Devontae Adams, depending on your depth, I would maybe consider it. But the more you throw in stuff, the more it starts getting more even. You know, it's definitely a lopsided trade now, but you start throwing in some crazy stuff, I don't know. You know, Adams shouldn't be a problem because Adams has maybe the 1 year left. But you start throwing in multiple first rounders, and now we're talking about you're going to even those scales to the point where we don't even know which side's better. So that was a big cry from amazing to whoa, pump the brakes when you start throwing in multiple first rounders, bro.
No, that's great. I'm negotiating with the guy right now, and he sounds open. He's wanted to do a trade like this with me the last month, but I've just been like, do I give up Allen? He's so powerful and super flex.
Yeah.
So I'm a little more open to it after seeing what you've talked about with Bo Nix and watching him last year. I'm like, Bo's young. He could easily turn into something like Josh Allen become.
Yeah, he's Josh Allen light right now, but that doesn't mean he has to stay there either. All right, bro.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right, later.
Yep.
All right, call in if you got anything on the Mixon front. If you have other stuff, I don't mind helping you on that too. But let's if anybody's got a Mixon question, dial in. Anybody's got a Nick Chubb, prediction, or you want me to, you're calling in to hope that I change my mind and tell you Nick Chubb's a league winner. I'm not gonna, but I will tell you he's not gonna be bad for a month of football probably. You know, it's just going to be how long does he last. Thanks again, Wes, for the super chat. Thank you, Will Snipe Sully, for the gifted memberships already. Appreciate you. Anybody else has a super chat, drop it, and I'll answer it in order in which it was received. You know, everybody get excited for the Throne Men. Coming week 1, Spacemen are always and will remain off-season content. As soon as the week starts for week 1, Spacemen get locked out of the content. They will remain off-season only. We walk into the wild, wild west and Throne Men. That is what we'll be dealing with. So you know, the Wanted, which will be the buy lows of, you know, every single week. The buy low men will be the Wanted Men.
Wanted.
And the Throne Men will be the monsters, the equivalent of what would be Mars Men, Moon Men, Saturn Men during the season. League winners, the 9 must-own royalty, doing it live.
You've just been Smitty approved.
All right, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Until then, though, we are still in full space mode.
The Jupiter Men. Jupiter is
Look at
so
him.
large.
Look at him.
Every planet in the solar system.
The Saturn Men.
Look at him.
One small step for... He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
Look at him.
The Moon Men. Dropping loads in outer space.
Four horsemen. Look at the 4 horsemen. We drafted the 4 horsemen on a team. Now you got to take Genty, and these aren't in order of rounds. These are just the 4 horsemen. Genty, we have to take in 1. Hampton, we got to take in 3 or 4. You'd preferably want to get them at 4. Harvey and Hendy, hard to get both of them now that they both kind of live in 5, but you might get lucky and get Hendy in 6, get Harvey in 4. Or I'm sorry, Harvey in 4, Harvey in 5, Hendy in 6, Hampton in 4, Genty in 1. Or you could reach early and go 3, 4, 5 in those rounds. But we did it without reaching. We got Rasheed Rice, I think, and I forget what the team looks like. We pulled it up and we're like disappointed that the team had potentially a suspension in Rasheed Rice for the first couple months or first couple of weeks. Maybe not, by the way. We're still waiting that, and there's still a small chance that he doesn't get suspended, but that is a small chance. Phone caller, you're live. What can I do for you?
Hey, Smitty, how's it going?
I'm good.
Suspended.
So I'm doing all my mocks and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I think it's round 4 is where there's like Brees Hall, Rashee Rice. Not really sure where to go with it. I talked to all my league mates. Pretty sure I'm getting CeeDee Lamb round 1.
You talked to come on,
Bucky's
bro.
falling to
Come
me
on,
round
come
2.
on, come on. Your
What?
league mates aren't telling you their game plans. Come on, bro. Talk to my league mates.
They don't believe in him. They don't believe in Dak.
Bro, who's going to tell you what they're doing, though? I'm just saying, why don't we go through this every... Are you telling people what you're thinking? Like, answer the
Nope.
honest question. Okay, so what makes you think they're telling... I talked to Stevie. Stevie's taking... He's not going to take Genty at 9, so I'm good there. Bro, these guys aren't telling you shit. But anyway, let's go. Neither here nor there, but just don't believe that.
All right.
You're
Well,
gonna
I'm
get-
just
you're
doing
gonna
my
get- you're gonna
mocks, whatever. Round 2, Bucky, Kyron, love them. But round 4, I'm really stuck because I don't know where to rank Brees Hall, Rashee Rice, Garrett Wilson. Like, I don't know
They're all
what order
amazing.
to go.
There's no
I
nothing.
know, but I don't know who to
Nothing
take.
to know. What's your team look like by the time you get to that point? If you need a wide receiver, all things being equal, you can lean toward Garrett Wilson. You know, you can lean. But I mean,
Yeah.
but there's nothing wrong with Hall there. If I had to rank them in a vacuum, you said Hall, Rice, who else?
I think Garrett Wilson. I think he falls to 4.
Okay. I'll probably say Garrett Wilson's a guy I'm taking at the top of round 3 with a smile. So if you get him in 4, it's a pretty damn good deal, wouldn't you say? So you got Garrett
Yeah,
Wilson.
I would.
All I'm taking Look, if Hall was going in 2, I'd take him, but we don't have to. He's going in 4.
Right.
So these are the top 2 picks. Rice, because of the potential suspension, deserves to be moved to 4, but once he's served the suspension, he has top 15 overall value. So it's whether you can weather the storm, build a good enough team, become a 2-1 team off of the suspension. Let's say if it's a 3-game, and again, he might not get a suspension. It's hard to know. Everyone that says he will, they don't know. They don't know. You don't know what the commissioner is going to do. To the letter of the policy and the law, he doesn't have to serve a suspension. First-time offender. So Rice and 4 is great, but I would say, and then who was the other one? You said Garrett Wilson, Hall, Rice, and who?
I think it was just them.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are all league winners. These are all guys that deserve to be in round 2.
Yeah.
You're fine. And then when you get to that next round, if you went running back, then Hunter's sitting there. You smash Hunter with a smile. You say, thank you. May I have another? And you go down to the next round. Harvey, Hendy are there. You take them. You said, thank you. Can I have another? You go to the next round. Debo's there. You say, thank you. Can I have another? You go to Mahomes. You just keep going down the line. You don't have to draft those exact guys, but those are guys I love in those ADP spots and home runs, baby.
If you had to rank Harvey or Hendy above each other, which one would you go with?
The coin says Hendy. Let me do it again. Oh, that's Harvey. One more time. It landed like this. It landed like this. So there's no Hendy.
I believe in the Broncos so much, Smitty.
It's tied. This is Hendy. This is Harvey. I don't know. It landed like that. The answer is there's no answer. The answer is whichever one's getting more work at the moment in time where we're judging this, we're going to think is the better option. But then, look at what Bucky did from week 13 on. You know what I'm saying? We can't even judge that Hendy is or Harvey is a better pick until things start really playing out, because even Bucky, who was a top 10, he was number 12 in fantasy football points for RBs, and he was in number 1 in 5, 4, 10, 6, 7 in all these categories, and the dude didn't even get on his horse until week 13. So if Harvey takes until week 4, he still could be the better player, but not look like it coming out of week 1. So we just have to be very careful not to overreact on Harvey and Hendy. These are probably 2 of the biggest buy low players on this channel walking into weeks 2, 3, 4, because you know how many Panic Peters are going to go, Hendy only got 4 rushes and 3 receptions in week 1, and people are going to lose their shit, bro. They're going to shart their pants immediately. And they're going to come running into the live stream, acting like they're big Hendy Harvey fans all offseason. Smitty, I'm on the train with you. Smitty, I've been here the whole time. First sign of panic, someone's going to jump off the train. The next person is going to jump off the train. We're going to have hysteria, a contagious hysteria of people falling off the train at full speed. And they're just going to be sacrificing their season. And then when week 5 or 6 comes around, these sad souls that traded and gave up on Hendy and Harvey they're gonna hate him. They're gonna hate him. Imagine drafting a player and they don't do well right away. You get rid of them. You were right though. You get rid of them and then they go nuts. And now you're right. You were right, but you don't even have them anymore. And so now you're wrong. You're wrong when you were right. There's nothing more embarrassing than that. Nothing.
All right, Smitty, I got one more for you.
All right, hurry up.
So we do 12 man 2 flex. So I've been taking a lot of late tight ends, late quarterback. Evan Ingram and Bo Nix are going right next to each other. So I'm kind of sacrificing whether I want a stronger tight end or a stronger quarterback. Which one would you go? Like I could go Evan Ingram and get Dak.
I'm getting both of them at the same time in underdog like clockwork.
Yeah, I guess ESPN ADP is just messed up.
Well, then you could take one round higher if you needed to, but you don't have to stack in ESPN and non-best ball anyway. But I think there's nothing wrong with Dak. Just make sure you cuff him to Milton, or if you don't have roster spots for that, you just watch. You cue Milton on your watch list, and you just make sure the first person that gravitates toward that thing the moment that there's any sort of confusion. Because I'm telling you, when Milton goes in, and this is not to say Dak isn't going to ball out this year. I love Milton and Dak. This is his new name. His name is Dak Milton. I don't call him Dak Prescott anymore. I call him Dak Milton. The moment, if a well-playing Dak gets injured or is out, Milton goes in, he may never, ever relinquish the job to Dak ever again. This will be one of those scenarios where in the offseason, this is the biggest mover, Dak Prescott. And then all of a sudden there's this player that can now maybe go to another team and help their team do well. And the Milton train is in motion. People don't realize it, but it's in motion. But I like Dak.
All right, thank you, Smitty.
I like him. All right, later,
Appreciate
bro.
it, man.
So was Milrow. Milrow and Milton and Associates. Travis, you're live.
Hey, what's up? So in redraft, there's no one to even bother with in Houston, right, for the backfield. I mean, I guess Chubb if it was the last round type pick, but you're not really touching any of them, right?
Well, I guess the context matters like anything. If you've got running back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, let's say, then hell no. But if you're in a league that's like 22 roster spots, maybe
Right, okay.
Almost even easier to own Chubb in Dynasty just because you have like a 22-man roster. There's nobody on waivers. Yeah. But like if you could hold this many running backs right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots on my board. Yeah, sure. Like Chubb could easily be one of these running backs. But also keep in mind that putting him on IR, if your league allows for that with his specific, how he's going to be listed in some scenarios, he won't be qualified. But this is a fine, even in a league where you only roster, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running back spots, but you have an IR spot. Well, sure, grab them, throw them on. But from just a general we have no IR spot, Smitty perspective, how can you own Nick Chubb in a scenario like this where you have 5 or even 6 running back spots or ability to have 6 because you have so many wide receivers, so many backup quarterbacks, whatever. I just can't see myself wanting him over Jaden Blue, who goes at about 150 overall ADP. And Chubb's ADP is going to climb probably at that territory or higher. I imagine higher because he's now looking like maybe the starter in Houston. I don't know. Maybe people will hold off to raise him up that high. I think he will go that high, but if they did, it would be understandable until they're waiting on the Mixon news right before week 1. But give me Blue all day long. I've no interest taking Chubb over even Blue or any of these midseason monster running backs at all. I can't envision it. So yeah.
It's surprising. I guess it's just pure name value, but how many people are like excited about Chubb? Like I keep saying, I love the guy as a person from everything I've seen. I want to see him do well because I feel awful for him about how both of his knees have been snapped in half now in his career.
Yeah.
But after those injuries, not to mention all the tread on the tires besides the injuries, the way he ran and how many carries he's had, I can't be confident in him as anything of value more than a flyer,
It's as simple as this, Travis. It really is. It's as simple as this. This bow tie is sitting there, and you pick it up, and you're like, "Are bow ties in? I just found a bow tie. Bow ties are cool, right?" I mean, it's all people are doing is they have Nick Chubb or they need a running back, and he's sitting there, and they just want it to be valuable. That's what I would say about 50% of the Nick Chubb hype is just, I have him. I just picked him up. Tell me I've got gold. People just want to be told you have gold. Bow ties are in. Put on the bow tie, young man. These things are back. They're back, baby. Maybe this is back. Let's see. Maybe this is back. I look like I'm doing a Chip and Dale's promo here.
Let
me see. Yeah. New sponsor alert. New Smitty is a part of a new venture. I can't even clip it. I'm not gonna get this job if I can't clip on the bow tie. How am I gonna get it off? Because I just clipped it blindly right now. Smitty and Dale's or Chip and Smitty's. I don't know, bro. I don't know why Nick Chubb has got this, other than the 50% of the people, I think. In my estimation, my objective guesswork estimation, 50% are just happy they may have found gold. They're sifting through the sand with the metal detector. They heard something, and they're like, this is it, right? I can retire, right? That's it. Nick Chubb has 2 mangled knees, and he looked like a very slow, tranquilized walrus out there on the field when he was, or on the grass when he was cutting left and right, after he did his amazing jumping gym work, where he was jumping amazingly, hitting his head on the ceiling. It was impressive. Nick Chubb looked phenomenal. But then when he hit the grass and he had pads on, he looked like he had 5, 10, 15 extra pounds on him. He was cutting really slow. We'll see. But could he fall into the end zone 12 times? Absolutely. You know,
right.
12. Yeah. I'm sorry, not 12 times. Like let's call it 8 times. Could he fall into the end zone 8 times on the year? Sure. But
yeah,
will he have?
I mean, short yardage. I thought he'd be like a good pickup for a team. You know, but now if they're going to turn to him and hand him, you know, twice as much, 20, 30, 40% more carries, I worry about it.
I would say, like, you know, he's going to end up, let's say he ended up with 6 to 8 TDs on the year because he played the whole year. He probably still wouldn't have 1,000 yards. But I think he gets injured. If he's even on pace for like a 6 to 8 touchdown pace at some point, I think he just gets hurt. He just gets hurt. His body's been mangled, man. His body's been mangled.
And that's the thing too. Like with Mixon, it's just the miles and the wear and tear and the fall off last year. Like, I just don't want to play the guessing game of that backfield. Of, you know, what weeks guys will be healthy, what weeks they'll produce. Like, I don't see it working out when there's so many more options.
I don't think I'm getting this thing off.
Gonna have to cut it.
I can't really see it. Oh well, we'll leave it on for now. We're doing it live anyway.
It's classy.
It is classy. This is a classy show.
Classy show a little bit.
It's a very classy show. Phone lines are open. Call in.
Call into the show.
Call
into the show.
Where class meets the turf. I don't know. Woody Marks. Let's talk about Woody Marks. We talked enough about Nick Chubb. You found a little, you know, silver-looking object in the sand with your metal detector, and Chubb is that piece of silver you think is worth a lot. Sure. Okay. Let's see what it does. Let's see how long it lasts before it breaks down. But Woody Marks is the interesting. So back to your question, would I roster redraft? Not yet. But, and again, cautioning everybody about the waiver wire board. This is old. I have not updated it since the last video. And I forget, Woody Marks is on the bottom. Look at that. We're smashing. Look at this predictive stuff right here. But Woody Marks at the bottom here, I could see us all coming out of week 1 racing to the waiver wire for Woody Marks, or week 2, or week 3, or week 4. But he does become a hard running back to roster in the same exact scenario that I was talking about earlier, where you have these like 5 running back spots. When you only have those spots, you can't put Woody Marks on the bench. But that means that, unfortunately, even though we know it could be true, we might all be racing to the waiver wire to get him. And we'll try and be preventive as best we can for that situation to come. But the truth of the matter is that you even if we feel like there's a high likelihood, just like we did with Garendo and other players, you still don't know when that jumping point's going to be. So you can't just roster them for 5 straight weeks. You could lose a league waiting on that. Even if you end up being right, and let's say you smash it and Marks comes in week 6 and is a baller, you might have lost 4 weeks because you sat on holding to a player that was scoring you 0 and wasn't worth anything. So it's just a balancing act of when to jump into the waiver wire stuff. BBQ dropping a $5 hauler. Doesn't matter who the Texans start at running back. Their O-line is a dumpster. Brought in all these new pieces. Bro, their offensive line got ravaged. That's why I'm not touching anybody on the Houston Texans roster except for maybe Nico at the right price. I don't think Nico is a bust. I just think Nico is in a bad spot where they might be down and throwing a lot, and that's good for Nico, and that's why I would draft Nico. But this could be a team that struggles to get into the red zone, and their offensive line's in shambles, and that's why I was out on Mixon anyway. This offensive line's been ravaged, as BBQ just said. It's pitiful. It's very, very bad. Stroud, that's why I'm not on Stroud either. I think Stroud's going to either get injured because his line won't block for him, or he'll cry, or something will happen. But BBQ, appreciate you. Travis, real quick, and then over to the caller. I know you were trying to say something.
No, I'm good. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, who's on the phone line here? 202, you're live.
Hey.
What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey man, this is Shay from DC.
What's up? You're live.
Hey man, so just wanted some insight. I've been watching your show a lot closely as the years been going on. Love your show, love what you do. Think the game is great. You're awesome. Yeah. So I have the 7th pick and a 10-man has the GBR.
You kind of muffled. I'm not sure if you're. Hold on. Let me merge this call and put him on hold. But you're kind of muffled, so maybe fix that real quickly. Caller, mute yourself real quickly. I'll be with you in a second. All right. Did you? I don't know if you got your phone. You probably had a speaker or something.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, much better. Go ahead.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so I'm in a 10-man league, half PPR. I'm at pick 7, and I've been kind of torn in between two, where I'm at a space where I'm pretty much accurate on all the ADP, the order, and everything, but I'm kind of torn in a way where I see myself wanting Achane, but then I'm torn between Henry. I could see him having a good year, obviously barring all injuries. So, and I don't want to reach on the receiver. I have a lot of success. I'm very knowledgeable about it as well. So I just don't want to overthink. And at the same time, at one point I had Neighbors in my mind. He looks fantastic, as we all know. So I'm just kind of torn.
I mean, this is kind of the age-old question, man. I mean, there's a lot of amazing players to grab,
Right.
and it's not like there's any. Let me merge this one more time. Hold on, caller, just mute yourself real quick. There's a lot of options to attack. I mean, Achane doesn't really have 1.7, value. He's a little bit later, and you could. I don't know that you would get him in a running back hungry environment at the corresponding second round pick to this 1.7, but this is a high draft selection for Achane. I mean, you're reaching. He's not even a first rounder right now. He's in round 2. Maybe your particular platform you're drafting on has him ranked higher, but he's going at the 13, 14, 15 territory. But I love Achane. I wouldn't be opposed to this, I suppose. I like Genty more at this 1.7 pick. Lamb is there. I'm very, very happy with Lamb. I'm very happy with I love JJ and Neighbors. Their injuries concern me a little bit. Neighbors looks phenomenal right now in camp, though. It makes it so difficult to try and make an objective call about his toe long term. But I mean, you're not crazy to go Neighbors. I just think that you're probably likely to get Genty here. Why aren't you thinking of Genty instead of Achane? Just curious.
So I like Genty. I think Genty, he's gonna have a great year. I'm definitely on a Genty train. But I think a lot of other guys aren't gonna be that bullish on him. So I was just kind of I guess what I'm saying is I trust myself in the draft enough to know I'm gonna get the right value. I know
that has nothing to do with this topic, though. You trust yourself in the draft. What does that have to do with Genty?
I guess I don't know. I didn't think of him as a 7.
So you don't like Genty? You can't, bro. You can't say you. Oh, I like Genty. I like Genty. I believe Genty, but there's no but with Genty. If you use the word but, what?
like Genty. I wasn't.
You don't.
as
But you don't.
seven.
But you don't. You can't.
I
You
guess I was
can't.
scared of taking my
You
seven.
can't. You can't have your cake and eat it too, and eat the person's cake next to you as well. Is what you're trying to do.
I like Bijan in round 2.
Yeah, I like Bijan around 2 as well. Like, bro, Genty ain't falling to your corresponding second round pick. The thing that I think you're going to tell me is that you're worried about the team, or you're worried about that. Let me merge this one more call. You're mute yourself real quick, caller, if you don't mind. You're worried about Genty and the offensive line. That is not the same situation as last year, by the way. You're worried about the quarterback play, which they have a new quarterback. You're worried about the system. It's brand new. Everything in LV is completely flipped upside down. Everything's been ripped out, and they've rebuilt it. So talking about last year is one of the laziest, not that you did it yet, I'm just saying when people do it, is one of the laziest and dumbest takes in fantasy right now. Oh, the LV, I'm worried about that offensive line. Didn't you see it last year? Last year has nothing to do with this year. This team is completely different. Not to mention, you're judging an offensive line's efficiency that didn't have Genty, that didn't have Geno, that didn't have the 2 new rookie wide receivers, didn't have a Brock Bowers who's 1 year more mature, didn't have an offensive line that did get tweaked and tooled and is recoached, and a defense that gets a little bit of an addition and some health and all that. You're telling me that last year is the determining factor for you on how this offensive line is going to produce? This offensive line could go from where people think it is to being number 12 in the league off of these changes. Adding Genty and Geno alone, the offensive line production instantly fixes many of the problems that were there last year. I'm just telling you. So if anybody's thinking of fading Genty because they heard some sort of show out there going, according to my reports, the Raiders were bad last year. This team that's not even recognizable from last year, we're going to blame everything on that team and that coaching staff. Don't do that with Genty or you're going to get burned. 1.7, I'm not saying don't get Achane. I'm going to give you my final thoughts here. I'm not saying don't go Achane, but if you're not even considering Genty, I think you should maybe reconsider that because he's potentially the number 1 overall running back. I'm not saying he beats out Bijan or Gibbs. I have Bijan and Gibbs 1, 2, but Genty I have 3, and I'm not even stuttering. There's no hesitation or equivocation in my voice. This is what I feel. 3. Maybe leading rusher in the league as a rookie. Boom. Best prospect to ever come out of college ever. Boom. Nothing matters. Oh, rookies don't do that. I don't care what rookies have done, haven't done, will do. This is one man, and he's his own man, and his situation is not like anybody else's, and you're not going to tie history to him because he shattered all of that already. Just like when people try and say Travis Hunter, oh, because people haven't done it here or there. This guy has done it. Genty comes out with a resume no one's come out of college with, except for Barry Sanders. That's it. And Hunter comes out of college with a resume no one has ever had. Ever. So I love when people crap on Genty or Hunter. I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you, bro. I'm passionate about the topic. And when someone says when someone says they like Genty, I don't think you like Genty. I don't think you do. I know you want to, but you don't. Not if you're not taking him at 1.7.
It's either at this point with that, it's like you're all in or you're all out. You can't have that. And,
well, rethink it.
You're making a lot of valid points.
Yeah, rethink it. Guys, I just want to say that Shuck is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league already. Sorry to tell you. Anybody out there that's a Saints fan or a Shuck fan, you got Shuck on your roster, so you're really, really hoping he's...
I'm
not you.
I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, so I'm actually like rooting for their demise.
I'm just letting people
like Shaw.
He's bad.
I think
want to remind
he's
everyone.
terrible.
Okay, all right, bro. Anything else?
No, I think
all right.
I want to go with a strong running back at that position, so you definitely gave me more insight.
All right. Well, Achan's fine. If you go Achan, I'm still happy. All right, later, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Let me go over to this other caller here. I believe it's a 321. 321 caller. You are live, and then I'll go over to the 817. Please remain on hold. 817 321. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Smitty, it's Gianni. I'm calling from Orlando, Florida.
What's up, my boy? Hey, is it raining there? Yeah. Is it raining there right now?
No, it's 96 degrees. I'm out here. I'm driving the truck, but don't worry, I'm pulled over right now. But I was listening to your show, and I had some
It rains there every day, doesn't it? It's amazing in certain parts of Florida. When I first went to Florida, I had no idea that it actually rained every single day, not without fail. It does.
Crazy. It does from like 4 to 6 o'clock, and you'll get a rain shower depending on where you're at.
Yeah, in certain not everywhere in Florida, but a big parts of it. If you're in Florida, I never knew this. I'm in Arizona. It go like months without rain, and then it'll monsoon for like weeks. But I never knew that every day between about 4 and 6 it rains in Florida. That is insane. That is awesome.
Yeah, I went to school down there, and I didn't know. And like my first day down there, all of a sudden, like the whole campus just went inside, and I was like,
someone told me that. Someone told me that when I went to Florida. I'm like, yeah, right. Like, how often? They're like, every day. I'm like, no, I know you're saying that, but like, how many? No, every day. I'm like, really? All right, go ahead, bro. What can I help you with?
Okay, so I have I've got a keeperly question for you. I'm in a little bit of an issue here with I've got like 6 guys that I could potentially keep, but I could only keep 4. And so right now it's a super flex league. Right now I've got JD5 and CD Lamb locked in as keepers, and I need to choose 2 from the other 4. And
hold on one second, Bruce.
Drake London.
All right, two from the other 4. Same again.
BTJ.
BTJ.
Drake London. Bo Nix. Brees Hall.
And you said this is super flex?
It's a super flex.
And who are your QBs?
I already have JD5 and CD locked in as keepers.
But you only have JD5, okay. Well, you have to keep Bo Nix,
only have JD5.
So JD5 and CD are your 2 keepers. And as much as I want you to keep London and BT, you got to keep Nix. And I'm very, very, what's the right word for this? Apprehensive. This is the correct usage, Wes, by the way.
Yeah.
Very apprehensive about throwing Brees Hall back into the pool because running backs probably will get ripped off the board quickly. When's your next pick? I'm definitely not keeping him. I'm just apprehensive about it.
So it's an auction league. So we have a certain amount of money going in. But I've traded some of my money, so I don't have the most right now, but I still have an opportunity to move some of the keepers for money in the off season.
Okay.
But yeah.
So there are dollar figures attached to these players.
No, there aren't.
Okay. So then it's going to be Nix and probably look BT and London. That's up to you. The chat, vote in the chat. London or BTJ or London. Which one would you rather have if you were keeping one? And you keep these guys for as long as you want, or is there a restricting amount of time?
No, you could keep them as long as you want.
So that
there's no cap on that, and it's not one of those things where you drafted them in a certain round.
I would go Nix, London, JD5, CD. That would be my 4, and then I walk in and I try and buy Hampton. I think Hall will still be relatively cheap. Harvey, Kyron, you get a couple of those guys, Travis Hunter, and you're golden, bro. You got your quarterbacks locked down. You don't have to worry about that. Nix in London or Nix and BTJ. I don't care which receiver you take. I would probably keep London, but that's a smash, bro. And if you get London instead of BTJ, it gives you the you're not going to feel as apprehensive. Another way to use this word, Wes. You wouldn't feel apprehensive about getting Hunter if you didn't already have BTJ sitting there and you're like, I don't like that. So go ahead and keep the London side of that, in my opinion.
All right, man. All right, I appreciate your help, Smitty.
All right, later, bro. 817, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. How you
doing? What's up, my man?
I'm doing great. I've been, listening to the show for a while, so congratulations. You've been killing it out here. So thank you for
pal.
giving your commentary and thank you for your knowledge.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So my question is, so I'm in a 10 team PPR league. I already have my
Superflex?
roster constructed already.
1 QB?
Huh?
1 QB?
Yeah, 1 QB.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm heading to my first draft auction where it's a rookie auction where rookie draft, and it's 3 rounds. And I'm in need like of a RB. I was thinking of obviously, when they said like Genty, bid on him, right? The highest bidder gets him. But
Yes,
there's
sir.
been times where I've been like, should I pay my max to get Genty? So what do you think I should do in regards to trying to get Genty, or just kind of play the bidding war? And
Is this
how
redraft?
far would you reach?
Is this redraft?
No, it's Dynasty.
Auction's tough, bro. There's two ways to go about this. I like to say that this Bijan Gibbs, or you could put Genty in here. Getting 2 of these guys and doing the 2-headed monster. First of all, what do you think Bijan Gibbs go for? And is it $200 purse for the spending?
Yeah, it's $200 purse, but it's rookie, so we already have our rosters.
Oh, this is
So
rookies
it's
only.
Specifically on rookies for this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, $200 on Genty all day. This is easy.
200, just blast it on it, just first round, and just
Here,
get
let me-
Genty.
Initiate full load drop.
Hell, so yeah, bro. I mean, I don't mind getting. Do you think you could possibly get like Hampton and Hunter if you spread this, or do you think that it's gonna be one's gonna be over $100 and the other is gonna be more than the difference that you have left?
See, that's a great question. I wouldn't even know.
Initiate
It's our
full
first time,
load drop.
so I don't know how who's gonna be paying for whoever. I was considering Hampton too,
Well,
kind of just seeing where
okay,
Genty goes, and then maybe get.
I don't know if I'd risk it.
All right, here's the plan.
Okay.
Hopefully, do you know who's calling out who? Do you have an order yet? Who's calling out what person first?
No, not yet. We haven't started.
Okay,
the draft.
hopefully-
I'm just kinda
If Genty goes, then see where it goes. And if it goes and be involved, do not let him go off the board. Worst case scenario, if Genty gets called out first, you're probably just going to get him, right? Don't let somebody hit 200 before you, though, because the first person to do it gets him.
that hits it exactly.
If it's me, I just do it. I think as soon as it starts, I don't even play the game because, bro, you could miss him. And somebody might laugh at you. The whole league might laugh at you. I don't care. What's your team look like? Let's look at that real quick before we have this guy.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Maybe his team's trash. Or like you can't even do anything with it.
Yeah, you're right. So my quarterback, Kyler Murray, Drake May, and then my running backs are James Cook, Brees Hall, Tony Pollard, and then I got Braylon Allen and Marshawn Lloyd.
Okay, so not very deep, but you got Hall and you got Cook. You can maybe trade Cook, and you're gonna have Genty if you do this. So Hall and Genty and Cook is fine. That's actually good depth after you get Genty, but I would definitely shop Cook later. Kyler's a decent quarterback. That's fine. That's top 6-7 material. Who's your wide receiver room?
I got CeeDee Lamb, JSN, Xavier Worthy,
Nice.
Chris Olave, Deebo Samuel, and George Pickens.
Okay, you're looking good, bro. Damn. You might want to package.
Yeah, I know. Wide receiver, I'm pretty deep on that. So that's why I was kind of considering. I need a tight end too because I only have George Kittle as my tight end. So that's why I was thinking if I go all in on Genty, then I'm not gonna have enough to get like a Tyler Warren or.
Yeah, but you might not have. You might end up getting like Harvey, and maybe you get Warren. But I would rather have Arroyo for like $2 a Seattle tight end or zero. Maybe you get him for $0. Maybe you pick up Gadsden and Arroyo.
And Brenton Strange.
Yeah, those I'd fine with that than Tyler Warren if it means I get Genty. But I would also try and package like Cook and Olave. And you might even get a tight end for that. You could go after Laporta. You could go after, tight end using that combo. You could go after, with Cook and Olave, you could go after potentially like a Hunter after the draft, maybe. You could go get a Harvey after the draft. You could maybe go get, I mean, you got a lot of upside. You could even package Cook and a JSN together to go get a Chase, a JJ, a top wide receiver if you wanted. You got a lot of depth there at wide receiver. You got a lot of wiggle room. But
absolutely.
Chat, we're a crazy community, number one. And I wouldn't be surprised is if you hit this $200 button right away and you initiate full load drop and you hit 200 on them. I wouldn't be surprised if the entire room laughed at you and they're like, look at him. But if these people could have an undo button and go back in time, I guarantee you more than half of that league would if they knew you were going to do that, they would have done it. They're just going to pretend they wouldn't. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to say, now you got nobody else. And you're going to be fine. You got Genty, Brees Hall, Kyler, Cook, JSN, CeeDee Lamb. Who's your third receiver? Worthy. I mean,
yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to go get Mahomes now. Your team's going to be fine. I think full load drop's in order. But you may not need it. I'm not saying you do. This could be one of those things where the other day I bid... Travis, how much was it on Thornton? What was it? 100? It was like
it was something like that. Yeah.
It was like I don't know. Let's say it was a $500 amount of free agent fab money that we had. I dropped like 100 or 200 on Thornton, and there was not a single bidder. So I'm not trying to suggest that you always know what's going to happen with these things. The only thing I was going to say is that you could get Hampton or Harvey or Hendy up on the auction board first and they go for 90, then you can get a Hampton and a Hunter and for under that amount. You're probably getting like $65 to $80 for Hunter. Maybe Hampton is like 101 or something like that. That would give you the confidence to say, let Genty go because I'm going to get Hampton and Hunter. But your receivers are so strong. The only other thing you could consider would be like if you were to go Hampton and Hendy or something like that. But I don't know. Travis, if you could get and I don't know that you're going to get both of them, though. What's your guess on what these guys will go for out of $200? What's your league doing? How's your league function? I mean, every league's going to be different here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how my other league mates are thinking. So
you have no clue. How'd the auction draft go? Like, how much was?
Well, it happened last year, so I kind of wasn't even.
But can you give me anything? I mean, I need something, bro. Tell me what a running back went for. Tell me, don't you have dollar amounts attached to these guys still? Like, give me something.
Yeah, but I would say I think last year how it went was Christian McCaffrey went out for like $58.
58.
So that is the range. I think the max is probably
he
60.
was.
What about like Bijan or Gibbs? Do you remember what they went for?
I think Bijan, Gibbs, man, they.
50 something.
There's one guy came out. He got both of them, which he played it beautifully. He actually did the two-headed monster, and he got Bijan and Gibbs in his team.
For like 50 each, probably at this rate. The only thing
I think it was about like 45 and 50.
Yeah, the only thing is though, you're building an entire roster with that $200 purse right now. They're just rookies, so they're not. It's not going to be the same price tag. But it gives me a sense of like, are they conservative Caleb's? It sounds like it. Like $50 and a $200. Bro, Bijan goes for 80 or 90 in an auction, a $200 auction that I do. A $200 auction that I do, you're having to pay $80-$90 for Bijan or Gibbs or whatever. $58, like maybe you do hold off. I don't know.
Maybe just wait and I don't know. It goes off for like.
Okay.
First round to 10th, yeah, go ahead.
Final take. And you do run the risk of somebody just hitting the button in the middle of this, though, and you're going to be pissed off. But worst case scenario, you still get a chance at Hendy, Harvey, or Hampton with Hunter. And I would do that. I don't care about position of need. I want the value. So Hendy, Harvey, or Hampton with Hunter would be a W, even if you lose Genty. But this is the last thing, and I got to move on. The last thing I'll say is that You just play the auction game with everybody. Try and slow roll it out. Don't try and like just jump to the front. The more action happening quickly, the more it fuels people to hit the button quicker. So just set back, let it kind of settle. Don't miss out. Don't be involved until it gets to like a $40, $50 territory, and then see where it creeps to. And if it ends up being like 110, just stay involved. Keep hitting, the button. Keep hitting the button. Keep upping it. And if it starts getting to the point where you know it's going to 200, hit it. But try and play it out. Yeah. Boy, that's my final answer. Yep. Just because of what you told me I was going to say, because of what you told me and the fact that your league mates paid $58 for the max value running back in the initial draft, these are conservative Caleb's. So I think I would play it cautious, and then the moment you feel this thing getting close to where somebody's going to do something crazy, you just punch it. All right, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was doing. Thank you. I appreciate you, Smitty.
All right. Yeah, later, bro.
Yeah. Bye.
I would just, Bruce, when I tried to hang up on him, he hung up, and then I hung up. Bruce, call back. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, that's a tough one because I would spend all 200 on Genty, but these guys might not. The way that he describes it. I mean, these guys are probably like, they got their binders and they got their salads, and they're sitting there waiting for the draft to happen, and
they're playing this out.
Yeah. What kind of dressing's on that salad, Frank? This is it's a mix between water and kind of a watered down house. My wife wouldn't let me leave the house without it. You want to get some wings, Steve? Oh, I don't eat wings. $50 max on Christian McCaffrey. I can see it last year right now. Hey, don't you think McCaffrey could get hurt? Until you see it, you can't bet on Bijan. He hasn't done it yet.
Anybody can get hurt.
Bruce, you're live. I'm sorry to hang up on you, bro. Hold on, BBQ $20 holler. Hold on, Bruce. I'm sorry. $20 holler, BBQ.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Dynasty trade Leggett Marks for Bigsby Thornton. Smash that, Poppy. Don't get sloppy, Poppy. Smash it. One of the biggest benefits to the show is identifying waiver wire targets early in the offseason. Wait till you find out what we're doing this year, BBQ. Travis knows. But this year, the waiver wire is going to be the best it's ever been. I promise you that. And this show is going to be known for what we're about to do with the waiver wire. Working the waiver is part of the process that could win you your league. I joined the show mid-season, and Smitty produced gold. Thank you, BBQ, for the $20 holler. You're an absolute menace in the super chat world. You really are. Poppy, thank you for being sloppy on that super chat. Appreciate you. Bruce, you're live.
Nope. Hey, Smitty, I got a question, and you may have answered it, and that's my fault. I took a nap, and I woke up in the mid-thing. But what does this do for Mark's dynasty value?
We don't know. I just think that if you ask me who's starting, how many games does Mark start, the answer is not going to be 0. I don't know how many. I just know that means Nick Chubb isn't going to play, elite football all year. And maybe Mixon comes back and kind of lingers all year too. I can't promise that Mixon's done. I just can promise you Mixon, he ain't lasting 17 games at a full workload at his, in his 28-year-old body that's breaking down. And Mixon, like Todd Gurley, you got to look at Mixon and Todd Gurley as the same player. They hit so many brick walls and 8-man fronts, their careers coming to a halt. This isn't some slow, unraveling. It is literally a brick mother freaking wall. Because Gurley was so good, but he was abused for years before that team started playing well. Similar to Mixon. Mixon was abused for years. And this is why McLaurin's so probably upset internally. Because McLaurin has been waiting for years. And Mixon, Gurley, McLaurin, all getting their chance in their twilight year, the later part of their twilight. And it's frustrating. And Mixon, he's not going to survive. Christian McCaffrey has had a chance to blossom on good teams. He's different, but he's also not going to survive. I put all the 29 and 30-year-old running backs up. Mixon, Kamara, CMC, Derrick Henry, and who else is on there? There's more, but those are players you can't count on. Kamara, Mixon,
Aaron Jones.
CMC, yeah, Aaron Jones, Mason's going to the moon. I mean, it doesn't matter that last year was a successful older running back year. It really was. But in the running back age of 28, now might be 29. It really might, especially with these pandemic running backs like Harvey. Harvey's 24 years old. A lot of these guys that had to endure the pandemic, and we're talking about from now dating back to about 4 years. A lot of these guys are older because they missed an entire season, an entire year. And so they're older. And so you're going to see kind of you're not going to know why these running backs are 29. A lot of them are starting later. Your body breaks down at 30, though, in a different way. That's why it doesn't matter if you're fresh. At 31, like Jerick McKinnon was able to do well at the 31-year age, whatever. That's very rare, but you can do it. But your body's like ready to break down right at that 31-year-old, age. But when you've had workload on top of it, starter workload, you don't get past 29. But we might see a lot of running backs at 29 instead of 28 do really well and then drop off at 30 because of the pandemic. And I don't know if it'll revert back after, but we have a lot of older running backs. And that's okay. I'm not mad at it. I think you give a 24-year-old running back, so Harvey's 24. You give him 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Harvey's going to play 6 years from 24 to 29. He will be, from 24 to 29. That is 6 years. That's a great shelf life. I'm not worried about that one single bit. That is a great shelf life. And to know he's getting extended one more year, probably just because of the 0 mileage odometer he comes in with, is what it is. Didn't Todd Gurley have arthritic knees? Yes, Bean, that's the point. That he got arthritic knees through the abuse.
And that's why we banged on the desk. No Todd Gurley.
That's the whole point. Half PPR, Olave or Golden. Probably Olave, but I don't really want either one unless the cost of entry is amazing. And I have started to like Olave more in best ball. Not in non-best ball, though, but in best ball, I've been taking him in that 6-7 round territory because it doesn't feel that risky there, but I was offered a Olave for a first rounder. We did it on that video, and I never pulled the trigger on it. It was hard to give up a future, even if it was like a 20, I think it was a 27 or 28 first rounder, and I just couldn't do it for Olave. I wanted to, but I couldn't do it. He's a tough player to believe in. He's so talented. So talented.
Ever has good quarterbacks for him to support him.
Yeah. What else you got, big boy?
Well, now that Mixon, we'll figure out. I'm assuming later with their ADPs are gonna figure out the big. My big thing is on Marks and his dynasty, and
yeah, I like him.
I think personally, I believe he beats out Chubb because I think Chubb's either gonna come in and be like the third down guy, and Marks is gonna be the first and second down guy. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, he's not gonna.
Personally, I believe that
unless Chubb isn't ready, he's probably not gonna beat him out. But doesn't mean that Marks won't take the job through injury or ineffectiveness later. But I don't think Woody Marks is. They brought in Chubb, and Chubb immediately climbed to the top. I don't think he's beating out Nick Chubb. I don't.
Is Singletary still there?
Just to give you
Singletary played for the Giants last year. I think they had Pierce still, though. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I wasn't sure. Someone was talking real in the chat, so I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
So don't why are we talking about the Texans? Because it's breaking news, FT. Come on, bro. Pay attention. Damian Pierce, Woody Marks is ranked like 4th on the depth chart, but I wouldn't put much weight into that. But Nick Chubb came right in and leapfrogged Woody Marks. But Woody Marks is a good college prospect, and we kind of liked him from the earlier part of the offseason before he was drafted. And then we got drafted to that quietly good situation in Houston in terms of the path, not the offensive line or really the scenario or situation. It was pretty solid. I mean, he comes out of 2024 with 47 receptions for 321 and 0 receiving touchdowns at USC. But he had 198 attempts, 5.7 yards per carry, 1133 on the ground, and 9 TDs. He's a really good receiver. Look at all those receiving yards and receptions. 2020, 60 for 268 and 0. 2021, 83 receptions for 502 and 3. That's insane.
Well, maybe he'll be the now see, he could be the receiving back on them if he really if they wanted to make him that.
Is that a typo? like that's crazy. I didn't even notice this 2021 season of receiving. 83 receptions for 502 and 3. That was in 2021. He still had 106 carries for 416 yards. It wasn't like he was all wide receiver. That's crazy, man. 502 and 83 receptions and 3 touchdowns. He's a nice prospect. That final season of 5.7 a pop, 9 TDs, 1133 and 198. But that's an impressive wide receiver stat line, man. So yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, how many games does Woody Marks start? I can almost guarantee it's not 0. That's all I can tell you for sure. But Nick Chubb, everybody wants him to be the guy. Everybody wants him to be the guy. Everybody wants him to be the guy. That's all I can.
So the last
he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy at first.
So
but
would you take him in the? I know I get annoyed about this, but would you take him in the 2nd round?
Who?
Marks.
In a rookie draft?
Or would you wait till 3rd?
Have to. No. Bruce, you're jumping a little early on some. Like, I know you gotta read the tea leaves. Marks isn't going anywhere near the 2nd round in a rookie. I think he probably climbs based on the Mixon news, but wouldn't you imagine he's a 3rd or 4th rounder at best? Because, Mixon's not ruled out for the year yet. So I don't think you're going to see quite the uptick yet. But don't blow your wad on Mixon, or I'm sorry, on Woody Marks in the 2nd round when you can still get guys like, you're talking about talented players that are still there. So many. I'd say 3rd round. You get the 3rd round, don't worry about ADP. Just start smashing. But yeah, don't take him in the 2nd, bro. You don't need to.
Okay. All right, that's all I had is because, like I said, I was high on this guy before the draft because I don't know why. I liked him. With the USC, I don't know.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Later.
Yep.
Man, I isn't that crazy, Travis? First I was like, do I have the wrong screenshot? 83 receptions, 2 and 3 TDs in 2021. Marks is he's a little receiving monster. That
makes it interesting.
He's a little Doug Martin. Those numbers remind me of Doug Martin. 5'10", 208.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I don't know how long it takes him to get the job, but he will eventually start games. So Marks is for sure. And so the preemptive waiver wire show, the last one we did anyway, Marks definitely moving up, but we had him on the list and that's how much we've liked him. I would say move him up all the way to, and we have Nick Chubb on here too, though. We were pretty on the ball here. We had Nick Chubb on there too. I'd almost say I'm kind of with Bruce in the thinking. I love Rashard Smith that we had him that high. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I want to keep it kind of in its natural habitat before we change it. But I'm with Bruce. I really do think that Marks is the player to own, not Nick Chubb, but you almost can't own him now And you can't really own Nick Chubb now, in my opinion, in a very small running back roster league. So take it as it comes. Anything else, Travis? Oh, go ahead.
Did someone say, not that it really matters, but Dameon Pierce on the pup list? Is that what they said? So is he dealing with an injury too?
I mean, I didn't see. Let me see. Let me pull up Dameon.
Someone was saying it in the chat, but I wasn't sure. I'm trying to find it.
I don't know that he is.
He is, yep. Undisclosed, though, so it's probably just a roster manipulation.
Yeah.
Unless we hear something.
I don't think he's hurt. But it doesn't matter. He's had his time to shine. Woody Marks is got a much better chance.
Yeah. I'll jump off. Are we doing the Stafford stuff at 8? I don't know if you saw the news.
The what?
Matthew Stafford week to week with his back now.
Yeah, we'll probably cover that later. I don't know. Yeah,
it's already 7 anyway. So.
Yeah,
8 p.m.'s coming.
Well, it's Saturday, so there's no 8 p.m.
Oh, you're right.
Saturday, but we'll be back
Graveyard shift.
Not returning to practice. So Matthew Stafford. The latest report on Matthew Stafford is back, not returning to practice Monday. I don't know if they meant to put Monday. Let me read this. Sean McVay said Matthew Stafford back soreness will not return to practice on Monday as anticipated. McVay said the Rams will take it week to week Stafford, but the QB has not experienced a setback. McVay said the goal remains to have Stafford back for week 1. Certainly not great to hear that. I mean, you start talking about, he'll be fine next week. Okay, you start saying the goal is to have him by week 1. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go live on that. We'll go live on that in a little bit. Maybe we do it. Maybe we do it really soon. I'll let you know. We might just end this and go live again. That's kind of how we roll. I like to have every video that has major news like this kind of compartmentalized. So let me think about it, guys. Stay close to the YouTube channel. I may just reignite a new live stream on this topic. Appreciate you all. I probably. Yeah, let's end it. We'll come right back. I'll come right back. Give me 5 minutes.
All right.
We'll launch a new video. All right.
All right. See you in a little bit, Smitty.
Yeah, guys, thank you for the supers. Wes, BBQ, Poppy, BBQ, cool guy. Ending the live stream. Be back in 4 to 5 minutes with a Matthew Stafford live stream. We'll talk about it now. We got to do it.